I was going into New York frequently for meetings, and in the early 80s, it became hard to walk a city block without seeing somebody who was homeless. And one day on my way to a meeting, I reached out to a woman who was on the street and bought her a sandwich. I made a connection with this woman called Millie. And from there, I began bringing in more sandwiches with my two sons to people who were homeless in New York City. I didn't know about family homelessness until I began volunteering in Union County. And there I met families, working families, who were living in shelters, families who were turned away from shelters, families that were living in their cars. And I thought, this can't be.
I had a phone call from Karen Olson, who told me that she would like to gather a group of interfaith leaders, particularly clergy from Union County, to create something that I had never imagined. It was an interfaith council for the homeless.
And when we couldn't find a building to provide shelter for families, we improvised. And I mobilized religious congregations to take turns with each other, providing not just shelter, but hospitality and meals for families on a weekly rotational basis. So that's how the Interfaith Council, or now Homefirst, began.
We used the social hall, and we didn't have real privacy. We hung sheets between some strings so that families could have some privacy. And something happened to me. I started to cry. And I realized that there, but for the grace of God, go I, or my kids, or other people that I might know.
I met quite a number of people who were full of dignity and you knew that they were going to be okay eventually. So it gave me pride to know that I could be a part of that.
I had two feelings at that time. One was how blessed I was, and secondly, what a blessing it is to be able to provide these services.
We also came to the understanding that while the emergency shelter program is very important, and the best thing that we could do was to move them as quickly as possible into a home, which is why we've even changed the name to Homefirst, because we recognize that for people to deal with issues in their lives, they need a place of stability, their own personal space.
The issue we're dealing with is not homelessness. That is a symptom. The issue is poverty. 1 in 7 Americans live in poverty, and Homefirst has solutions, a comprehensive solution to lift families out of poverty and into sustainable independence.
We are not providing handouts to people. We provide a helping hand. We're there to help people get back on their feet, to develop even more so than they are.
We put our toe in the water, if you will, in terms of housing, with developing transitional housing for those people who just needed maybe a year to 18 months to get back on their feet and be able to get their own homes. And then we had supportive housing for those people that were dealing with disabilities. As we continued to work with our groups, it became apparent that what we needed to also do was provide affordable housing options. And so that's another area of housing that we've moved into.
It's tremendously rewarding when you see a family that's just been through the trauma of being homeless and they walk into an apartment, freshly painted, new appliances, little kids who are just hysterical with joy to have their own place, to go to sleep at night, to watch television, to play. It's unlike any other feeling that you can have.
Homefirst offers an array of services that really focuses on creating a pathway out of poverty for individuals and their families.
As they provide a very comprehensive solution to help lift families out of poverty through counseling, through life skills, financial literacy, healthcare, transportation.
There's parent support, there's English as a second language. There's the community garden, and that includes chefs coming in and showing our clients how to plan and cook nutritious meals and how important the role of nutrition is in one's well-being. We are continually looking at the landscape to see where we need to put our resources, who needs the support, what we can do to support them.
No veteran coming home from fighting in the war should be homeless. When a kid ages out of foster care, where do they go? We don't want to see runaways on the street. When a family is in crisis and mom and dad are working and they cannot afford affordable housing, we want to be that organization that could provide affordable housing for the working poor.
We really do see it, expanding our footprint, if you will. We are currently in Cranford, Westfield, Scotch Plains, Plainfield, Summit in Western Union County. There are opportunities for us to move into other communities.
Caring makes good neighbors. We can't do the work that we do without donations. We're not 100% funded by government entities. We're funded by our neighbors, our congregations, our civic associations, our local United Way. And we need individual donors to also contribute to Homefirst, because that's how our legacy grows.
I'm hoping that that Homefirst will be an organization that is a great influencer in helping develop policies that prevent homelessness in the first place.
And Homefirst has taken a problem and transformed it into an amazing opportunity. Just to look at the smiles on their faces and the gleam in their eyes is to tell you that there is achievement here.
I'm glad I did what I did, and I'm thrilled that there are other people who've picked up the ball and are doing it. If you serve people who are less fortunate than you, trust me, you will be the winner as well as helping them.
I personally think that the reason we are here on this earth is to help each other.
After 30 years, to think about all the families and kids that have been served, that now have a safe and affordable place to call home. That means the world to me, and I'm so proud of all that Homefirst has accomplished over the years.